All right, folks, welcome back to Mike and Maurice's Mind Escape. We have a continuation of episode number 66, Smoking DMT versus Ayahuasca, part two. Check us out at Mike and Maurice Mindescape.com. I'll be updating that again later today. And check us out at patreon.com/ Mike and Maurice. We have our three guests back. We've got Dick, Paul, and Sam. And we were talking about their ayahuasca retreat in the UK, not in the Amazon, like I thought. And yeah, let's get back into it. So, Paul, I know last time you said you had so much more to say. Um, what was the most, after now looking back and um, reviewing, I guess, in your own head, what kind of went down? What was the most interesting aspect to you, like something you hadn't gotten before from an ayahuasca or DMT realm?
Um, well, like I said last time, I've got it quite a few revelations, to be honest, about prophecies. A lot of the prophecies are going to be coming true in our time, basically. Like from the ancient Hebrew traditions. I'm looking into Kabbalah a lot at the moment because what I'm being shown, it's all to do with the Kabbalah ultimately, which is linked to ancient Egypt and prehistoric Egypt as well, isn't it? But certainly the prophecies, like from every corner of the earth, from the Hebrews to the Hopi people to the Celts, to South America as well. There's something here, something coming, and it's connected to everything that we look into. Standard Great Awakening, so to speak, and all that. But there's something happening on a really deep level, and they were showing me things that are happening in the spirit world, in the underworld, whatever you want to call it, and it was showing me things to come, what are coming here, and it's all beautiful, it's amazing. They took me to another level of understanding as well of why there's so much shit in the world and suffering and all that. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm maturing with that. There's a bit of a weight coming off my shoulders with it, not knowing what to do with it, and I'm getting a bit more of a much more clear understanding of what to do, what I'm being shown now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it involves patience as well. But yeah, like I went in very, very deep this time, and I'm still having memories of it and processing it. I processed quite a bit more in the last couple of weeks since we last spoke.
So I'm going to ask you this question real quick,
Yeah.
Paul, before I get to the other guys. So we talked about this a little bit last time, but
Yeah.
I put out a clip yesterday out there, and it became popular about we had a different guest on who we were talking about the DMT realm and the jesters and the entities and stuff. Now, when you encounter these entities, most people say they're more real than real, or the feeling's more real than real.
Yeah.
But do you think that's just, like, I guess what I'm saying is like, is the feeling what convinces you that this is something external or real, or like what about it convinces you that it's not maybe some sort of archetype within your subconscious or brain or something that you're because people are like, oh, it's just hallucinations, or
Yeah.
so like what would you say to counter that?
Well, I mean, what can you say? You can't tell people anything,
Yeah, you can't prove
the
anything.
awakening community. Yeah. The awakening community right now, that everyone's got their minds made up, haven't they? I've learned this. This makes sense to me. And people are just going like this, and
Right.
arguing all the way up the ladder. And if you woke up tomorrow, right? If you went to bed tonight, you woke up tomorrow, and you weren't quite in this place, you're in a higher realm, meeting meeting beings that felt real, like as if you woke up and sat there and had breakfast with your mum and dad in the morning, you know what I mean, or with your family, whatever. You won't say, "Oh, this can't be real," because it is. You pinch yourself. You know when you're dreaming, don't you? You know.
Right.
And what the craziest thing about all that is we're actually dreaming right now anyway. We're hallucinating now. We're hallucinating the human experience, you know, the five senses. It's just basically all I can say to people who say, "Oh, you've got to go and do it yourself." You know, don't until like McKenna said, until you've smoked 75 milligrams DMT, you know, we've got nothing to talk about. If you don't think my words valid for my own experiences, I understand that. I don't expect you to just listen to what I say and go think, "Well, yeah, that must be right then."
Right.
It's so incredible and miraculous, and well, it is. It's everything. It's so amazing, really awesome. What awesome really is.
Sure.
But experience it yourself. And aside all that, it's not just what I've experienced; it's all the research I've been doing. And you can just look up at. I put a stream of stories on today. All the religions are talking about the same thing. It's all symbolism of the body in the nervous system. That's what God is. It's all through the Bible. The Bible wasn't about what was going on. All these characters in it are parts of the bloody brain and whatnot. You know, it's parts of the body. It's been very, very cleverly written, and they're just for very few people to decide and get out, isn't it? You know, same with the Quran and the Torah. All I can say to people is, right, if you really want to know, you've got to do your work yourself. You don't have to have an entheogen. You don't have to have hallucinogenics, but you've got to do a lot of research. Yeah. A quiet time, you know, long time thinking, solitude, and that, and a lot of introspection of what is really real. You know, you've got to be truthful to yourself. If you're not truthful to yourself, then you're not going to see the truth in front of you. You've got to admit you know nothing for a start.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I could go on forever with that question.
Yeah, we got to get to the other guys here, but
let's move on. But that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, no, that was a good answer. Sam, so you know, last time we talked, it seems like you're a little bit more into the experience of what's going on. So what would you say to what I just asked him about, you know, how do you know this isn't, you know, a hallucination of your brain that's just causing you to see things and you think it's real, but it's not, you know?
Well, I didn't actually see anything, so it was all feeling for me. So I'm not going to doubt my own feelings, you know.
Have you ever seen anything?
I've never. No, I've always struggled to break through. Well, I say always. The first time when I tried it, I didn't break through. I didn't think I broke through until the second time, and then it all felt relevant. That first time, it was just opening very subtly the doors to a different perspective on everything, you know.
Do you see the stuff that other people's not? You know, obviously, you just said you don't really see entities, but do you see, you know, the hyperspace and the geometric patterns and that kind of stuff? Or no, it's not. It's just more of a feeling than it is a visual thing.
Yeah, it's not visual for me, man. It must. I don't know why it affects different people certain ways. I can't answer that, but for me, it must
be the way you metabolize it or something.
Who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know.
But you've smoked it and done ayahuasca, correct?
Yeah, I've smoked it as well. But like I said, I struggled to take the hits with that. It got very weird very quick.
Right.
I bet.
Pixelated, yeah. But when I did it, everything just fell to bits. But it wasn't. And then I just come back to very quickly again. It wasn't. I just couldn't take any more to sort of get any with it. But I will do.
Have you? I mean, is that something though? Like when you think about when you hear other people's stories, is that something that you want to experience, or you don't feel like it's necessary?
Yeah,
and it just kind of is what it is.
Of course, yeah. That's what I was sort of a little bit disappointed with the ayahuasca. I was sort of thinking, well, what about all these stories I've been reading? You know, I'm going to be presented with this, you know, mother ayahuasca and all this, and it wasn't like that at all. But I mean, I got something amazing from it. You know, it's
right.
Can I just add something? I spoke to Dick about that question. I want something to add on it as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll put a post-it note on that part.
tag on her.
But yeah, so Sam, I think that is interesting because there are people that don't experience it, like, and I've interviewed a lot of people and I'm on all the forums and social media and stuff. And I talk to a lot of people. I like to hear, what everybody experiences. And there are some people that don't experience the entities or that specific part of it. And those people seem to poo-poo the idea of it. Even some people, more of the, you get,
Yeah.
well, you get the materialist reductionist type people that, are hardcore,
Oh yeah.
in this realm kind of a thing. And they'll say, oh, well, like I said, it's just a hallucination or whatever. But it sounds like you're open to the idea about it. You just haven't experienced it yet, is what I'm
I
gathering.
probably just preparing for the next one. I think it's some people maybe just need that,
Right.
because or some people are just into this on another level to others, and it's just is what it is. Yeah.
Sure. All right. So Dick, what now? I wanted to get all three of your point of views on that. So what do you think about it? Is it an archetype of our subconscious? Is it an external entity? Do you think it may be both? Like, because some people will say our consciousness is not just subjected to this local, being a local phenomena. It might be something that we're taking in like an energy, and our brain is almost acting like a filter kind of a thing. Are you along those lines, or are you more in the camp that you're in your consciousness, but when you do this, you're experiencing things that are always there, you just can't see them normally?
So I'm going to say both. I'm going to say that these are separate entities, and I'm absolutely convinced of that, and that's been the direction of my literary output, and it's going to continue to be the direction of my literary output. But I say both because I believe these entities, these others, these powerful spiritual beings of hidden nature, I believe that they've had some work in shaping the human psyche from I don't know how far back, and will continue to have a role in shaping human psyche. You don't see it, you don't know that they're there unless you open up your perception with this powerful mind manifesting substance. And then to me, it's very clear that they're separate entities. They're beings of hidden nature. Nature does not stop. We are not the pinnacle or the crown of creation. It continues beyond man, albeit unseen. And terrestrially, solar system, galaxy, universe, it goes on. And I'm not saying that I'm interacting with galactic or universal entities, far from it. These DMT entities that are interacting with me and other researchers, they seem, I don't know, possibly bound to this globe, certainly have an interest and a knowledge about us, our psyche, our physiology. But yeah, I think they've had a hand in shaping what Jung called the archetypes of humanity.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Do you think though that when you look at all your experiences, that is there like a common entity archetype, or is it something that's just always different?
Yeah, there's definitely a common entity, and I came to call those occult masters, just as I say, because they were incredibly powerful. Seem to have a complete working knowledge of the human psyche and physiology. They're compassionate, wise, intelligent, loving. I wouldn't want to fall out with them, mind. But then I've had other experiences where qualitatively they've been very, very different to the what I termed occult masters. And there was one experience with smoke DMT, and I had no doubt whatsoever that entity filling the bedroom, it could have snuffed me out like I can blow a candle out. It was just frightening, just doesn't cover it. It was beyond terrifying. My life was like, I felt my life was in the balance. So yeah, and I'm sure that there are many other, I don't know, species, types, classes, of entities out there just waiting to be catalogued, documented.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if we ever got to the point in science where we can't figure them out. So, you know, we look at it like science where we start to categorize them and put them in different, you know, which I don't think, you know, from my understanding, that doesn't even seem like it would fit in that realm because everything's just so nuts, you know. Like, I don't think you can look at it like reality where it's like, oh, this is this and this is that. It's a very different thing. Paul, let's get back to your little post-it note that we put up there on.
Yeah, just about if people say like, how can you say it's just not brain candy and that, you know? Well, science is coming out with things now. I watched a documentary with my sons last night called Atom. It's a mainstream, I think it's BBC, and it came out about a year ago, and it's talking about how they found out down the decades that everything's made and there's nothing solid here. You know, it's all an illusion. They're actually coming out with a term. Everything we're looking at and sensing with our senses is an illusion.
Well, yeah, it's all molecules vibrating on a certain
it's
frequency.
all we're in a work of art, like McKenna said. We're in a moving, acting work of art that we play roles in, however predominant, you know, different levels of that. But it goes back, and as far as when you were speaking to Sam about, you know, some people do go through a lot more than others with ayahuasca. See, this is it. It's like you said, point out, you know, somebody will go so far when you speak about, you know, having a much deeper experience, they'll poo-poo it or whatever you said. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it can't be. I've not been. I mean, everyone goes to different depths. It's where we're at. I don't know the exact reasons for it, but all I know is that I go right through and I see when I first did ayahuasca, I met like a lot of comical type entities who just wanted to meet me and share love with me, and then I got moved on to these other more serious beings, like Dick speaks about, immense power and energy, and they weren't serious but very sincere, and they were like, right, now it's time to learn. And this time I was just bombarded with those kind. They were, yeah, and you know, like I say, you just know that it's going off everything else you read and everything, what the ancients spoke about there's a lot more to this, you know. This whole play, this whole is a place to learn, you know. Look into what the laws canon talking about. She was on it.
So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I just had a visionary psilocybin experience not too long ago. Not, you know,
right? Yeah.
And I can say the same thing. The feeling was like more when you're in it. There's this like almost you can feel it coursing through your body, like it's this energy or this like I don't even know how to explain it, but you just feel like alive, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
your cells come alive. You feel at one with everything. Well, your body's made up of all these different trillions of intelligences, these cells, yeah?
Right. And it wakes your serotonin up, like you can feel it like coursing, you know. And one thing I will say too is it like takes the governor off your mind. Like I was thinking, I'm like, man, right now, if I started writing everything that I'm thinking down, if somebody gave me millions of dollars, I could probably come up with some sick inventions, you know, because you're literally, you know, like your brain isn't inhibited by, you know, everyday reality. You're not thinking anymore. You're just being, you know. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys have ever read Eckhart Tolle's the Power of Now. You know, it's literally like it almost forces you to be in that moment and you're not really thinking about anything else. So you know, that's
the writers from Game of Thrones should have been taking some of that shit.
Oh well.
Yeah, Maurice is a little
minds of the viewers
is disappointed with the whole ending, but that's a different episode.
But hallucinogenics, mate, like you say, for me, it's everything's wrong way around. Yeah, what's black's white, what's white's black. When you take hallucinogenics, it's taking the hallucination away with D. I don't know what word you term it, but it's taking us to where we usually are. You know what I mean? So however much you have a low dose, it just tunes a little bit. You have a high massive dose, then it's like boom, the matrix dissolves and it shows you're looking out your third eye, aren't you? And you're not using these eyes anymore when you have such an high dose. Doesn't matter when your eyes open and shut, does it anymore? Like when I have ayahuasca, it doesn't matter. I'm seeing through that eye. You know what I mean?
Are you ever scared before you do it? Like, you know what's coming, so you're a little part of you is maybe hesitant or.
After what I told you from my experience last time, the first night was absolutely amazing, but very tough, very tough. And yeah, I shit myself a bit the next day. But and then I started getting into it. I'm like, what am I on about? I freaking love it there anyway. So, and the second night, they all again was, you know, loads and loads of interaction, but it was a lot more laid back, and they let me just be, and I was just buzzing my nuts off, moving around with them all, and they were showing me things, and no intense experiences that to break me down than that one. But yeah, every time, like, you know, every time you do a series, either whether it's a high dose mushroom or a hit of DMT or ayahuasca, serious butterflies, man, every time. But
Yeah,
soon,
that's why I was asking you, because there is this like pit in
yeah,
your stomach before you do
yes,
it, or right after you
yeah,
take it, you're like, oh, I know what's coming, and I don't know if
every
I'm ready.
time, yeah.
Very sweaty palms beforehand.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah.
Do you think, Sam, though, that might play into like, you know, I don't know, but when you said you've done, like, you've smoked it, like most people have these breakthroughs when they smoke it, have you maybe just not smoked enough? Like, with having that in the back of your mind that you could enter that realm and maybe you don't want to, or is it just something that you don't think has just happened?
Well, with the DMT, I've just struggled to smoke the stuff because, like I say, everything did dissolve when I first smoked DMT. I closed my eyes.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was getting shot somewhere, and then it literally just melted. But I melted back into the physical world. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's sort of like it was almost telling me you've not had enough. There you go, back in the room, sort of thing.
Yeah, it does that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spit you
Tell you
back.
have more. On ayahuasca, they tell me to drink more, and I'm like, fuck off, I'm done.
So yeah, what do they say? It's like normally like 3 hits of smoking it, and
Yeah.
you gotta hold it in, and usually after that third hit, people. I mean, I think it depends though, because I've seen people take 1 hit of 5-MeO and instantly get catapulted into that realm. So I think it just, you know, if the people are you know, doing it the way of extraction, but it's not the 5-MeO, it might have a different obvious, you know, effect and come up and everything. So. But what would you say, Sam? What would you say, like, if somebody said take 4? Would you do like 4 huge hits just to experience what everybody else, or no? Is it too hard?
Yeah. I hope it's definitely on my list of things to do, mate. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
I am worried, bro, and I want to know. So.
Get a co-pilot, Sam.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe, yeah. Just a co-pilot.
Like
yeah.
Morris said last time. Yeah.
Send Dick or Paul over, and you can have a nice babysitter there, guide you through it. So Dick, do you think that you know, obviously you've had a lot of experience smoking it, and you've just recently tried ayahuasca for the first time. We talked about the differences last time, and you know what you thought of the differences. Do you think that there's more? You get more out of smoking it or the ayahuasca? Like, do you think that the ayahuasca, since it lasts longer and it's maybe not as intense, is allowing you to maybe reflect a little bit more and have a little bit more introspection than smoking it?
Yeah, I think ayahuasca, you can certainly work on yourself more. I think there's a benefit to self-improvement and navigating the experience more, whereas smoking is just I mean, it's really intense. But what I would say is, I think from smoking it, there's more opportunity to kind of figure out that these are interactions with powerful spiritual beings of hidden nature. I mean, you know, I've only tried the ayahuasca 3 times, but I think in the setting that I was in, I would struggle to have arrived at that conclusion or that same conclusion. Whereas, I mean, with smoking it wasn't obvious to begin with. It took me ages to work out what was going on, and it was sometimes little things that would kind of give the game away. So I'll give you an example. I smoked in the bed once, and I put my pipe down and put my lighter down and laid down, and like this massive energy, my energy's filling the room, I can hear this like hissing noise, and I'm like, I'm laid there, and I sense this entity. You can actually palpably and emotionally sense this. I didn't know it was an entity. You just sense something's there, but there's this hissing noise, and I can sense this thing's here in the room, but it's not interacting with me. And I'm like, come on, what's stopping you? And then I figure out the hissing noise. It's my lighter. My lighter's leaking butane gas. And it's like, whatever that thing is in the room, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but whatever that thing is in the room, it knows there's an issue with my lighter, and it's pissing out gas, and like hissing. And like I sat up and like, oh my God, it's the lighter that's hissing. I'm like, well, that was really interesting. What the hell what was I saying? Like, come on to, there was something there. And I'm like saying like, come on, interact with me. But little things like that kind of give it away. Another example would be, smoke on the landing at the top of the stairs, and I'm surrounded by these, like, minions from the Despicable Me film. Yeah. I'm surrounded by these yellow munchkins, and it's just this glorious kind of visual experience. And then one of my boys burst through the front door downstairs, totally unexpected. So there's this just sudden crash and commotion, and the whole hallucinatory, sphere just didn't shatter, it just like exploded, just dispersed. And I was like, that's really interesting. It's like whatever was interacting with me, it sensed that disturbance. And of a similar vein, I've been in my bedroom and interacting with something, and if there's a sudden noise outside, so we had a chainsaw start up once, and this entity that's interacting with me, I'm engulfed in its mind. Straight away, you can actually see and feel the direction it just dashes off, and that's it. You're kind of left on your own. So little things like that really kind of gave the game away for me. And yeah,
interesting. Wow. Paul, so do you like when you do this, these psychedelics and stuff like that, what's your mindset going in? Are you going in with the mindset that you're gonna interact with these beings? So there's like like you're suggesting to yourself, while you're in it, not that they obviously that's making it not real or whatever, but just that, you have an intention when you go in. Sometimes, when you take high doses of mushrooms or other psychedelics, you go in with, I'm going to think about this and learn this, do this. And then you get in there and it's something completely different. Do you, like I said, do you project that? Like, do you go in thinking and then you try and accomplish that? Or is it what I explained where it's, you get in there, but it's a whole different ball game once you get in there?
No, I pretty much know what's coming now. And I still get, like I say, the butterflies, the pit in the stomach as it's approaching. But as soon as I'm in there, it's like, oh, I freaking love it here. What are you on about? It's just hard as it's coming through, or you're going through, which not hard, but it's a bit, scary, like I say. But no, I don't have any directly set intention. I just make sure, I'm looking forward. I know what's coming, and I look forward to it. I do. I love meeting them. Love the feeling I get there. It's the greatest feeling. You can imagine really when you go real deep, and they show you miracles of existence and why it is. But I don't think, right, I want to learn about that. I want to learn about this. I trust that they know everything about us. Everything. Certainly the beings I meet, they know everything about us, and they just they show me what I need to see, what I need to know. And what I've started realizing now is that I didn't think it was making sense the first few times I did ayahuasca or smoked DMT and had mushrooms, but it's been sort of grooming is not the right term, but that sort of sense. It's been building me up and releasing bits, and then I go off and research it. You see, it's like I posted a quote the other day on Instagram about the biologist doesn't look down a microscope and stay glued to it. Down, sees what he's seen, then goes off and processes it
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what I've been doing. So whatever they've shown me at the start, which hasn't made real sense, then I've been finding things afterwards. Or, sometimes it just appears. I don't know. I'm not even looking for it. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes it relate. And then it's all been coming together. This time it got took, like I say, to an all new level. But then again, it made everything else make sense. So I completely trust my teachers, because they are my teachers. And I just know they're gonna show me, they're gonna leave me with what's gonna move me on to the next stepping stone, yeah, or my next rung in the ladder. And just totally trust and relax and completely surrender to it. They want you to surrender because surrendering's courageous. Yeah, complete surrenders takes a shitload of courage.
Yeah.
And it's not weakness; it's courage. And,
Are they trying to
we know
teach you to do that in the reality? Like, is there ever a message that like
let go? Yeah, just
like let
It's
go?
all,
Like
yeah.
fear
Let go.
is a can be overcome.
Remember who
kind
you
of a
are.
thing?
Remember what you are. Yeah, remember what this is. You know what I mean? And it's just let go and flow. It's all about flow. Like Bruce spoke about, be like water. Go with it, and it'll take you to amazing places. And wow, I can't say that enough. You just got to surrender. And because like McKenna said as well, nature loves courage. Yeah,
Sure.
they love courage. They love people going just. Even if you're scared shitless and you're still going to do it anyway, you're going to get something beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that, but I'm pretty. Unless there's something else going on there, you're gonna have a beautiful experience because they love courage and they celebrate it with you when you get there. They show you how brave you've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's well said, Paul. I think if you go into this with bravado and like, wallow, you've heard about DMT, it's like, oh yeah, I got this. I think you're gonna pay a heavy psychic price. But I think if you've got a genuine fear and respect, but you still, like Paul said, find the courage to submit to it, you're gonna get some big rewards. I'd agree with that.
Interesting. So Sam, do you think that when you look at like what other psychedelics have you tried besides DMT? Have you done mushrooms and San Pedro and all that kind of stuff?
Mushrooms and LSD, yeah.
Okay.
Tried ketamine for the first time.
How was that? How was the ketamine? I've never tried it, but I've had depression and anxiety issues in my past, and I know there's some people that have done only one dose that's cured their depression, and they recently the FDA just approved
Clinically proven. Bro.
Yeah, nasal spray that has
Whatever
ketamine in
that
it.
means.
So you can actually get it, as medicine now. It's expensive,
Right.
I think. But yeah, what was that like?
Well, I stuck the ayahuasca Icaros on,
Mhm.
and I did feel like I left my body, definitely, and it was just all colors, man, and it was cool. It was really cool. I had my mate there babysitting. He said I was just talking to him like normal, but I was coming back and forth. You know what I mean? I'd land again, and then I'd have some more, and I was off again. He said he could see it in my eyes when I was there and when I wasn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
He said I had this glazed look on my eyes. Obviously, just had a bit more, and I went somewhere else and come back again and in the room. But anyway, the next day I felt amazing. So it can't be that bad, you know. I felt really good.
Sure.
No
I only
hangover.
had an hour's kip.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between not that ketamine and MDMA are similar, but I think MDMA the next day, even if it's clean.
Yeah, you get a big serotonin blast.
Yeah, and which I mean, I think if you're doing it, I think when they do therapy with it, it's low doses. On a more right. So, I think that it depends on how much you're taking, when you're taking it, that kind of a thing. But when your experiences though, what brought you to psychedelics did you have a background of some sort of, did you have demons in your past, or was it something that you started off doing as a kid or something and just liked it, and then eventually, you matured into more getting stuff out of it?
Yeah, well, obviously dabbled when I was younger and stuff, but you look back at them times and it was for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? It was just to sit around giggling and just being cats, really. You know what I mean? But this time, when it's again, like I said on the thing I said last time, when I was looking at a trip to South America, and ayahuasca just kept popping up on the internet, just everywhere, and it was like, this is for me, you know. And as soon as I read about it, I was just like, yeah, I've got to try it. But getting back to what you were saying before about the mindfulness and talking about demons and depression and all that, the fact that it is putting you in that moment, and this is why everyone's getting depressed, and depression's the past, anxiety is the future. So if we can just center ourselves through these psychedelics, there'll be no need for anyone to go through any of them emotions again. You know what I mean? So
that's actually a good outlook on it. I'd say that's correct.
Yeah, that's spot on, brother.
Can seriously help people. You know what I mean? That's what I'm passionate about. That's why I'm pushing about how just talking to you guys is outside my comfort zone, but people need to know how powerful this stuff is, and it can really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, mate, like I was saying before, Mike, I've got a pal back in England, and I went back to me after the ayahuasca ceremony. I went back to my hometown in Northern England, and I left some of my pals with some DMT and a device that Dick gave me very kindly. And one of the lads, I mean, they've had some there for ages, but none of them know it's too old for that and all that. But one of the lads went out for a meal this time, and turns out one of them, who has always been I've always considered him a smart one, intellectually clever and that, yeah. And a deep one as well. Well, he were asking me about what I've been doing. I told him, I want to try that. He's gone and done it last week. Picked it up. He went on his own in the dark at night up into the countryside. In woods. Now, that takes balls.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a full-on mad breakthrough, but he had a really good experience. He had 2 goals of it. And then he didn't message me straight away afterwards. So I've waited a week because, you know, he's been dealing with a lot of depression for quite a while. Serious. But, you know, he was depressed before I left England a bit, really. And
right.
But he gets on with it, you know, like we all do. But he said he had to wait because after the first couple of days, I noticed I weren't hating myself once. I was just loving myself, being positive and not hating my job and everything. And he said, I give it a week, and he said, so it's been a week now. And he said he can't believe that just one little half an hour, 45-minute stint, what it's done for him internally. He said he can't believe how much he's rewired him and his outlook of things.
Right.
Know? And so he's going to be going this weekend. He's going to be going doing a proper go of it as well. He's looking forward to it.
Nice.
So, I mean, that's just one little session of smoking DMT, and he's had a massive turnaround. And I was buzzing when he was telling me.
Yeah, I think.
And something, you know, behind the scenes there, because he's on the balls to go and do it. I mean, first time on my own, it was in the dark, no chance. There's no way I'd do that. Well, I might know, but not them. So that just shows, you know, it really does work. And he said the word he said was, well, he's been waiting for this all his life.
That's interesting.
So he's got to ask for it, you know what I mean? And that just fills my heart with love it.
Me too.
Yeah, I think psychedelics kind of act like it's just a break from reality, and besides the obviously seeing visuals and experiencing love and entities and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I think it provides. It's almost like going on a mini vacation. You know, like you go on a vacation. If everything goes well, you're usually come back refreshed, renewed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what psychedelics are. Like, you know, when you come down off of 5 or 6 grams of dried psilocybin, you feel like, oh, I'm still alive. I'm here. And you have a mission, and your mission is whatever you had to face during the trip itself, you know? So, you know,
it's an overwhelming sense of purpose, I find, after when you do these things. Your purpose here, what we're here to do. And once you know what you're here to do and what you're about, there's nothing to worry about anymore, is there, you know?
Right.
You just, all it is just love.
And to all the people that poo-poo all this stuff, you know, I would just say to them that, you know, real or it is real, but real or not in the sense that there's something metaphysical going on, that these things are doing. Like I just said, it gives you come down and you, like you said, you have a purpose, you have a goal, you have a mission. So the fact that these things have been illegal, the fact that these things have been demonized, you know, it flip flops through history. At certain points in history, I'm sure there obviously wasn't police forces and people doing, you know, sting operations and stuff like that. So people were, you know, you see a mushroom on the ground, psychedelic, you eat it, nobody gives a shit, you know, back in ancient times. And slowly you know, it's the whole control thing in the sense that, you know, government is just something that's just trying to keep everybody on the same page, really. But some people, you know, aren't really born on the same page, and some people don't really fit that mold, you know, or don't want to be a part of that mold. So I think that these substances provide a vehicle to, you know, understand more about yourself. But Dick, when you what's the future for you with this stuff in terms of, I know you're working on another book, I know, you know, this ayahuasca ceremony was a, you know, a big thing for you, but what's your future look like with this stuff? Do you have anything, you know, big planned? Are you trying to figure out some way to take it to another level, or what's going on there?
I guess at the moment I'm on something of a hiatus. You know, I still will dabble with a little bit of changa. You know, I'm very lucky. My wife's got, like, you know, she's got her own medicine box with, you know, all kinds of opiates and ointments and all kinds of different things in it that I never touch. I just see that as, like, you know, poison, or it's not getting to the root of the problem. And then in my writing office, I've got my own little wooden medicine box filled with wonders, and I'll dip in and there from time to time. But I want to get my second book out of the way, and I'm loving the writing. You know, I mean, bear in mind I'm juggling a full-time professional job. You know, I'm a responsible parent, a good husband, as good as I can be. But yeah, I mean, whenever I got chance, I'm working on the book and loving it, and I just want to get that published, and then I want to break that hiatus, and I really want to, I don't know, just see if I can really get stuck in and you know, take it further, go deeper, go further, try some different things like intramuscular injection, potentiate the DMT with Hamala, explore Changa, try some for ACO. I've been blessed with a little bit of 5-MeO, the toad medicine and the synthetic. You know, I want to try that and just see where it goes. You know, yeah, you know, the idea is to get a third book. The second book's there. That's going to be published this year, I'm sure. If I can get the third book out, I'll be really happy with myself.
What's your, just, I mean, not to divulge too much, but what's your second book going to be about, briefly?
So the second book is it's a combination of my last 2 years of my 3 years research. So DMT and my occult mind kind of set the scene with some personal disclosures about who I was and why I was doing this, and then I introduced each and every experiment from my first year. And my second book was going to be the second year, third book was going to be the third year. But I decided, you know what, let's just take the best from year 2, the best from year 3, let's combine it, let's improve the writing and make it far more direct, and let's get that published. So yeah, that's going to be the kind of like the remainder of my 3-year research minus the first year. You know, I think there's something like I think 160, 170 experiments, and there'll be, you know, I'm really enjoying the writing, and it's really heartening when people come and say, look, I love your writing, I love your book, I love your work, I love what you're doing. That's so encouraging. But this time round, I really feel like I've improved the writing, so want to get that done and then commit to further research.
And I wanted to ask you one more thing before I move on to Paul again. You know, I think in your book you described this, that it's almost like a Masonic hall symbolism, where it's the black and white um, square, almost like, you know, the graphic I made for um, the last episode we did, where it's that that archetypal black and white square room, you know, with the tiles.
Yeah.
You know, I think you talk about it in your book too. I've actually experienced that in meditation and heavy doses of psychedelics. Is that something that you experience in the DMT realm, or, you know, have you experienced that before?
No, I've not experienced that. I mean, I think that's covered pretty comprehensively in P.D. Newman's book, Alchemically Stoned, and it's really fascinating how he talks about that and what that checkered floor is used for in terms of, you know, sonic uses in terms of preparing the ergo fungus for its psychoactive properties. But no, I've not experienced that. But I've certainly spoke to people who've experienced that same checkered floor, and it's really fascinating things like that, like with clowns and jesters that you see, which I contend are products of the mind of the entity that's interacting with you. But it kind of makes you think, well, where do these things kind of stem from? Like the human propensity to dress up in costume and have carnivals and masks, and are these kind of human inventions, or are they kind of like promptings from, I don't know, some other realm that's kind of shaped us and shaped and directed our culture? I don't know, but I suspect so.
Right. No, I agree with that. Yeah, it's such a fascinating thing. And everybody who hasn't
Shipibos, Mike, they make clothes that look like the DMT realms. It's like a black and white pattern with all colours coming out of it. It's normally like white with a black trim,
right.
colours in between it, and that's what it looks like to me. It's there's a lot of black and white, but all colours that I'm not used to, I've seen before. But also mirrors as well, with the mirrored effect behind it. It's all like everything's reflecting off. It's very difficult to describe, but that's when you mentioned the black and white there.
Yeah, and Mike, I loved your question to Sam, and I just want to throw out there that I had the benefit of some really good 2CB several months ago. I'd never tried it, but I knew it was one of Shulgin's magical half dozen, and I tried that, and oh my God, what a night that was. I mean, that night began, and I was in this beautiful, blissful state, and I'm like, damn, why is this stuff illegal? I just can't work it out. And then like an hour or two later, I was tripping balls. I was like, whoa, like, in a bit of a state. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. But yeah, I don't think it should be illegal. That was such a magical substance, 2CB, and a really great psychedelic. As I say, I got a little medicine box here with all kinds of wonders in there. And if
Hunter S. Thompson kit.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah. If things went wrong and the police knocked at the door and took me away and took away my medicine box and went through, okay, we're taking the acid, we're taking the ketamine, we're taking the DMT, we're taking the MDMA, we're taking this. I'd be like, yeah, all right, yeah, no problem. And we're taking you 2CB. I would scream the fucking house down. No, not the 2CB. It's too nice.
No, I've never tried that, but
stuff.
yeah, I've heard people talk about it. But what real quick before I get on to the other guys too, I actually wanted to ask you, what do you think the main difference is? You said you've smoked 5-MeO. What's the difference between 5-MeO and NN dimethyltryptamine in your opinion?
Sorry, Mike, don't know that yet. I've got the capacity to smoke it, but I've not tried the 5-MeO yet. So I'm just.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, you'll let us know when you do that. So.
Oh,
okay.
indeed.
Well, this is it. I mean, the way I'm inclined, mate, is that everybody's more sensitive to certain chemicals than other people are to others. We've all got our own different reaction. Yeah.
100%.
Well, yeah, we're all different.
Mike Tyson talking about the MEO.
Yeah.
And he said nothing to this. It takes you far deeper than ayahuasca or DMT or and then DMT. And I'm like, well, how do you know? How do you know that takes you deeper than some substance takes somebody else? You don't know that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Well, that's what I'm finding with ayahuasca. Certainly, I go to the same places when I smoke it. You know what I mean? But just for longer. So
sure.
People are getting different experiences, and we're all trying to compare the same thing, and we're not. We've all got different perspectives, and we're having different reactions to it. We've got to understand that.
Absolutely.
So positive for everyone, that's one thing that's the same.
Yeah. So, Sam, what do you think? What do you think? Are you a creative person, by the way? Like, are you? I know Dick's. obviously an author, and Paul's big into the thought experiments when he's into this stuff. Are you a creative person when you go into these realms, or is it something you just kind of do? Or
Am I creative when I'm in
like
there?
no, just are you like an artist or musician?
Oh, right. Well, I play guitar. Yeah, I've been playing guitar since I was about 16.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like I said last time. Yeah, it sparked something in me. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I always had it in my head. I couldn't sing and I couldn't write songs, and now I'm starting to sing and write songs. So there's definitely something in it. It's just
Tapping into something for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's quite amazing, to be honest. Yeah, because it's all part of the thought process as well of saying to yourself, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't do this, let alone me," and whatever.
Right.
That shows you how big and fucking amazing we all are. And then it's like, right, fucking anything I want, pretty much, as long as I'm not harming anyone,
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, no, the reason why I ask is, I'm a musician, played, before this, I was in a bunch of bands and heavy into guitar and recording stuff and piano and stuff. But when you do psychedelics, or even if you smoke pot, whatever, anytime you can break free from like the everyday reality, something you've either been working on and couldn't get, or something that you've been writing and were at a standstill, it seems that these substances open doors. So I don't think, when you look at the history of rock and roll, and I guess all types of music for that matter, some of the greats have obviously been associated with psychedelics and that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Mike, I've heard Sam sing, and I've heard him play, and I tell you what, he's got rock star qualities. It's just, he's got it, man. I tell you, what a voice. He's got it.
Area.
You guys start
get together, man. We might have the new Oasis on our hands.
No,
bigger than that.
I'm telling you,
Paul looks the part. That's for sure.
I'm happy looking the part, mate.
Yeah, you're the third Gallagher brother, bro.
I've got other gigs to fry, shall we say?
For sure. I know you're big into music too, Paul. You're big into,
I'm big into sound, mate. Sound in general. I was thinking the other day, I fucking love music, yeah, because we are music, but I love listening to nature, and there's nothing better to me than listening to sound of a woman being pleasured. I mean, that's the ultimate music for me. I love sound in general, mate. All sound, but
you are a rock star then, aren't
you? Really get me vibe going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have a YouTube channel, Paul?
You what, mate?
Do you have a YouTube channel?
No.
You should definitely start one where it's just you doing this and just ranting on about your experiences.
Could do, mate.
Yeah.
I will be doing that, I promise you. But how I'm going to approach it yet, I'm not sure. I'm still reflecting, and I know I'm going to be doing something like this. But
yeah, we'll help. I mean, any way we can help you, obviously, from the sound engineering side of things or whatever. If you ever need help, let us know. Well, we'll get you started here. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll kind of wrap it up here, but I just want to say, I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing your experiences, because not everybody wants to talk about this kind of stuff, and it is still, even though it's come a long way, it's still pretty taboo. And if I were to walk into a room or my office or something and start talking about DMT, even though it's produced in our body, people be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So it's not even. It's more.
I went on a rant on Mother's Day to my mom. She probably thinks I'm off the
wall.
Well, they've done a good job, don't you, when they're there with a pint of ale and going, what, you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
From the fucking earth, does it? And what? Nah, you're talking rubbish. Come on.
Right? I mean, I'm a firm believer. I think alcohol is probably one of the worst substances you can take. So,
oh man, I cut that out of my life, and it was the best decision ever.
Like it's awesome. I still like it.
Well, once in a while, if you're at like a wedding or you're going out with your friends once in a while, like it can be nice. But you can also also drink 5 drinks and wrap your car around a pole and kill yourself or kill other people. So I mean, that's the other side. If you can't, I've never heard of somebody smoking a joint and driving people off a cliff. I mean, I guess maybe it's.
I passed my driving test after having a white to me, mate. So calm my nerves. It helped me out.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I failed, couldn't stop my legs shaking. That stopped my legs shaking. It was easy.
Nice. But yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Check out all 3 gentlemen. I'm going to add their Instagrams in the the information section below. Check out Dick's book, DMT in My Occult Mind. You can get it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the information below as well. And yeah, you guys have a great week.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, guys. Thanks for
Guys.
having us again. In Lakesh.
Peace.
Thanks,
Thank
See you
you.
later, guys.